Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, what's going on? Coach Berg in the building. What's good?
What's good, man? Welcome back to Business. Well, actually, this is the new year, so we're going to start with the new name. Welcome back to the KillEgo podcast. Tonight is Bible Studies for Sinners, as we got the name from Fergie. We absolutely love that.
I don't know, man.
Look like him in the building too.
I love that, man. Bible Study for Sinners, man. It's yeah, I think it's a dope name, and I think it's a dope reason that we getting this together, man.
Most definitely.
Yo.
Team, can you hear me? Talk to the people.
What's going on, everybody? I can hear everybody now. I couldn't hear everybody at first.
Okay. Now, Fergie, me and you was talking earlier in pre-production.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking about a dispute, and you were talking to me about legal disputes,
Absolutely.
right? And how a Christian should handle that legal dispute. And I was telling you my thoughts on it based off of what I know from the Bible, and I wanted to bring a verse to your your understanding.
Well, I do want to clean up something though. So remember, I couldn't give it on the Christian side, but I could give it on the, been through a whole lot of things in my life and seen a lot of people going through things in life, and I could see a hustle when it's a hustle. I did it from that side, and you hit it with the Christian side of things, and I was saying no, let's hit them with the legal side. So I said this verse, we're going to follow it up with some real world kind of examples, and hopes that we can help you out, and also keep you on the right path. All right.
Exactly. So the first 2021 verse we're going to read in Bible study is 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 1. And the title is, Do Not Take Believers to Court. Suppose one of you wants to bring a charge against another believer. Should you take it to ungodly people to be judged? Why not take it to the Lord's people? Or don't you know that the Lord's people will judge the world? Since this is true, aren't you able to judge small cases? Don't you know that we will judge angels? Then we should be able to judge the things in this life even more. So suppose you disagree with one another in matters like this. Who do you ask to decide which of you is right? Do you ask people who live in a way the church disapproves of? Of course not. I say this to shame you. It is possible that no one among you is wise enough to judge matters between believers. Instead, one believer goes to court against another, and this happens in front of unbelievers. When you take another believer to court, you have lost the battle already. Why not be treated wrongly? Why not be cheated? Instead, you yourselves cheat and do wrong, and you do it to your brothers and sisters. Don't you know that people who do wrong will not receive God's kingdom? Don't be fooled. Those who commit sexual sins will not receive the kingdom. Neither will those who worship statues of gods or commit adultery. Neither will men who sleep with other men. Neither will thieves or those who always want more and more. Neither will those who are often drunk or tell lies or cheat. People who live like that will not receive God's kingdom. Some of you used to do these things, but your sins are washed away. You were made holy. You were made right with God. All of this was done in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. It was also done by the Spirit of our God.
So I just got to get this off, man. So I said, of course, that verse starts off with Corinthians, right? And if I ain't learned nothing, I was like, Corinthians was wilding back in the day. But the biggest thing I took away from that is, like, of course, the Corinthians are the ones that he starts off with talking about judgment in court. So I'm like, damn, them niggas been getting sued since way, way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It was just that there was always unrest, there was always unruly, and there was always judgment. And but what I struggle with, especially when you were telling me what you had going on, I was sitting there like, man, business is business. right? So I'm like, man, attack, sue them. And, the fact that you had a verse that said, man, I'm going to lay low. And if they attack me, of course, I'll protect myself, but in the business sense, I'm just so used to seeing that dynamic, like, yo, man, you gotta go on the offensive, because what the examples that we obviously we can't go into detail, but you was getting hustled.
I mean, we can listen. We can play with
Okay,
scenarios.
so you set that stage just so I don't go ahead and I know I know the names and
I'll
the addresses, so you know what I'm saying?
Right. So the scenario is you purchase you purchase a service from someone, and that service was supposed to reap at least 30 of these things per month. At the end of 3 months in the contract, out of the 30 per month, which should be 90, they only achieved 9% of their goal, which was 9. They produced 9 of the 90 that they said that they would be able to produce in that time of the length of the contract. So let's set the stage there. Because obviously we know that if somebody does that with business services, legalities come in real quick when people only give 9% of what they promised up front that their service could do.
And so those of you that that said we set the stage. We're basically saying you paid for a service that you didn't receive, and then on the back end they said that you're going to pay us more money to get out of that contract. And it just I said in my mind I'm saying attack, because don't sit there and be a waiting duck. But then you read that verse to me, and it says, and I want your direction on it. Does it say to not play by the rules that are in our world, in our structure?
Okay. No. Let's not miss the fact that he said in the beginning, fellow Christians. And that's the part where I'm saying, if you felt you were in business with a fellow Christian, there are certain courtesies that you give those people, even if you didn't know that they weren't Christians to begin with. Once you find out that they are Christian, that they aren't Christian, and they're just using whatever they're doing to kind of win your emotions over and kind of get you where they can, and what they're saying, whatever they got to say to get you, that's where God gives you the authority to say, not only am I not giving you any more money, actually I can take back what you tried to take.
Okay. And see, and just so listeners and viewers said, you missed this beginning part of it, and I hope you can speak to it. But it's so this particular company or brand was branding, almost a Christian, following, and they weren't following in certain practices that they had promised. And that's a difficulty, right? Because the thing is, just with the name, you assume, right? You assume that those practices would equal out to the branding, and that wasn't the case. So this is a very, very, difficult scenario which we're talking about. And, it's if you could speak to it. So when we're talking about dealing with other Christians, are you saying it's you're allowed to sue those people back if they're not practicing the Christian way, or what? Okay,
correct,
okay.
correct. But I feel like you should thoroughly establish that and have conversations with that person to make sure that y'all can, like Jesus said, if we can resolve this behind closed doors between us amicably and walk away, and we good, so then let's do that.
So God actually prepared us for the courtroom, because the thing is, that's probably just as big as anything that's going on as far as an establishment. Everybody getting sued, and there's drama and all this other stuff. So God is covering that. So this is actually like a specific thing. And I would have had no clue that there was anything about court. I thought this was something that really just kind of started. You saying it was in there from the beginning of the time, because the Corinthians was wild. So this is really, really cool stuff to really kind of actually speak on, because it's like it's relevant today just as it was back then. It's always that.
Well, what you're seeing is the Alpha and Omega at play right in front of your eyes, because God told you in the beginning, that nothing is new under the sun. So before we got here, human nature was already established. We just the embodiment of it right now.
That's it, my man. He over there circling. I was like, my man thinking, because it's just.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just been listening, taking it in, letting y'all, learning from y'all and listening. Sorry about my voice, everybody. I haven't been feeling well.
Oh yeah,
for the past week, but by God's grace, He's making me stronger. I would just like to say, I just thank God, for His understanding, just for Him, like Myles said, nothing new being under the sun. And, throughout the thousands of years that humans have existed, we think we're, doing something new, but really it's just being recycled. And, because of the fall of man, I think that people don't understand that as humans, we're inherently selfish, and we're inherently, like evil. Like we like to do a lot of things for ourselves. We like to make sure only the people we care about are good. We only want to be understood, and we don't like to, it takes effort, to understand. And I think, that's why it's a narrow road, because only so few people go out of their own way to do something for somebody else that like doesn't affect them at all. But you see, we as humans, we're taught, that, we're good by nature, but we don't know that, probably secretly we hurt a lot of people's feelings. It says like, don't insult people, and like people are sensitive, whether you're a man or a woman, we care about a lot of things. And, the simplest, like insult, from a stranger, can hurt you, can set you back, and you don't even know why. And that's because, again, I think Jesus makes us go out of our way to not be, because it's easy to be evil, but it's difficult to be good to people all the time. And so that's why I think, it's a narrow road. And that's why I think, you got to be, cautious, especially like we talking about Corinthians. Reading over the chapter myself, I'm seeing is the first part is like, I guess, choosing people who you deal with, choosing who you do business with, getting some insight on a person before, blindly, getting into like, a business move or anything, because, it can go sideways, like y'all said, and then go to court. You're not necessarily, like, who knows what the court believes in, like that you're supposed to put your right hand on the Bible and swear, but, some people lie in court. Sometimes the jury is unfair. Sometimes the jury is fair, but the judge is unfair. Sometimes the DA is unfair. You don't know who you're dealing with in court. And that's why I also think Myles was touching on. He was saying, if you and that other person can settle your dispute without, nobody else, especially if they don't believe in, the same, like the God, especially if they don't believe in Jesus, then, their judgment could be skewed. They could be judging for their friend. You could be their friend that they're judging for. They could be righting wrongs. And, it's a lot of it's a lot of factors, that Jesus is saying that you don't want to deal with because you never know if it's going to play in your favor or not.
See, and that said, it's so powerful. It said, there's nothing new under the sun. And, we got our little hovercrafts and hoverboards, and we think that it's new, but it's literally just the same things over and over and over again. Same things he's always been trying to guide us on and protect us on. But, Myles said something too. Myles was saying there was a verse in there that said that he has that. You don't have to attack somebody else. You don't have to, he's like, take that pain, take that loss, take that L, take it on the chin. Keep it moving. Don't even waste your time handling that, because he said he's going to handle that. And when see, and that thing is, I was so hyped up because I said, this is my boy, right? This is my brother. I've been with him before he was a CEO. I was with him before he, graduated high school. I was with him before we, what I'm saying? It was before we had facial hair. So in my mindset said, look, attack, man. If you don't want to do it, I'm gonna do it. They give me the number, I'm gonna call him. Said what he looked like, where he at. My mindset was that, right? And then Myles told me, nah, God got it. And he said he's going to drop some heated coals. And it made me feel I don't know if I was supposed to feel better about that, or just say, look, it feels better about passing it on to the man above because he got it and he don't play. So, so I don't know, Myles and him, y'all can speak to that, but that vengeance, like I said, it's his. And I don't know if I found too much comfort in that, but it's just like, well, he gonna tell y'all love, so y'all got it. They'll say, go ahead. I'm gonna take that L right there. I'm gonna take that loss. But y'all got y'all coming, and he gonna get me on the back end. So, that was really, really dope, and actually calmed me down. I'm like, all right, Myles, you right. Maybe we shouldn't hit him over the head with the litigation.
Well,
what's going on?
I mean,
go ahead.
As much as we get fired up, when it comes to getting, revenge on a person or revenge against somebody, that, like, say for example, like somebody, killed somebody who was close to you, and who did it, and you think it's justified, or you want justice, to get that person, because that unfortunately, law enforcement might not do their job the way that you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? We've seen this plenty times in the movies, and like, they go through with it, and they might get that person back, but they always say, like, I thought I'd feel better, and but I feel even more empty now. You know what I'm saying? And
Can I
ahead,
can I throw one verse?
And I apologize, before you get to that verse, to say Mr. Visions decided to go ahead and drop in on the call too. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Mr. Visions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad, y'all, for joining.
Shout out, Mr. Visions. What's good?
Doing some things, but
how you doing, brother?
All good.
We doing well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So catch me up. What we talking about? We talking about revenge, just emotion.
Well, yeah, we was talking about how, vengeance is for the Lord.
How business can go. Yeah, vengeance is for the Lord, most definitely.
Okay.
Right now we jumping into Romans 12. So let's start there, and we can start the Bible study from there if y'all want, All right, cool. So it says, my dear friends, don't try to get even. Leave room for God to show his anger. It is written, I am the God who judges people. I will pay them back. Deuteronomy 32:35 says the Lord. Do just the opposite. Scripture says, if your enemies are hungry, give them food to eat. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink. By doing those things, you will pile up burning coals on their heads. Proverbs 25:21 and 22. Don't let evil overcome you. Overcome evil by doing good. We don't touch revenge, because the moment we touch revenge, we dilute it for the Lord. You see what's happening? You got to let God have full anger and vengeance, because when he get the person back, he going to get them back for everything they did.
See,
and more.
so in terms of, you know, this just how much the Lord is begging you to give it. Yeah.
Hold on. Then if you do good while they're doing you bad unto them, then you heap hot coals on their head.
My favorite part.
Listen to God so good.
Hey man, oh no man, I ain't never been ticklish before, but if that was a tickle moment, that definitely. I was sitting there, I was like, what? Dang, he gonna hit him with the hot coals, and if I go ahead and entertain that, I'm gonna dilute those hot coals, so I'm gonna cool them off. I said, nah, they got what they got coming. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Man. You know, so it's like sometimes you can find joy in not in taking a stance. You know.
Yo! I caught just the tail end of that. Y'all was talking about tummy rubs and whatnot. Y'all was talking about some tummy tickles or something. What y'all talking about?
hey.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so that's for the next podcast. The relationship joint that we gonna save that for the back end. You came in at a weird time, my brother.
Who are you telling?
about 30 minutes early for the relationship joint, bro. That's Why Love Hurt. Tune into that next.
I'm there. They talk about tummy tickles. I've been trying to figure that
out. I said tummy tickles.
I said that's man. That needs no introduction. Our brother Tim has also decided to join us. TJ Jones.
Yeah, Jones.
What you know about? Yes, sir.
All right, man. What's going down?
But let me catch Tim and Artis all the way up. So basically, we were talking about a dispute because Chris wanted, in the dispute, Chris wanted the person that was being done wrong to like try to go all out with the legal system to try to get the money back from what was lost, because the situation is the person goes to a service and he says, I need you guys to produce 30 of these a month for me. And they go, okay, yeah, we can do that. The guy comes back 3 months later and they've only done 9% of the job. But the people still want 100% of the money.
Now I said, so my mindset, remember, brother, I'm new in this journey. So I said, street rules. I said, hey, bro, go get your bread back. And if you need me to roll with you, I'm going to roll with you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, straight up.
You know, but the Bible actually teaches us, which is, I was sitting there, I was like, dang, the Bible talks about us going to court. I was like, dang, think about today. Thank God we got something to go, because court sounds like it's 10% of some people's day. You know what I'm saying? So, and you ain't a lawyer or you know, working in the court, you going to court. Every single celebrity we could talk about, Wayne going back in a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Kodak Black just went back a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? They got Gucci Man. You know what I'm saying? He on red alert. We was waiting for him to go back. So it's
Lil Wayne just got caught up.
I'm about to say Lil Wayne.
Man, he's probably gonna go back soon. Shoot.
So it was so crazy to hear that God had already covered, you know, how to handle that particular type of situation in that environment. And I was sitting here, I was like, you know, even like my man Heem said it like so clearly. It said nothing new under the sun, nothing new under the sun. So this court stuff, this life stuff, this you know, this violent stuff, this disease stuff, all of this stuff ain't nothing new under the sun. It's in. He's like, yo, it's in the book. Y'all keep trying to figure it out. It's in the.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Pandemics was in the book.
I mean, it's nothing new under the sun because, like, we haven't evolved as humans. We still doing this, like, when we say nothing is new, like, of course, like, yeah, we got cars, we got houses, like, they never had stuff like that. These are material things. But when we say nothing new, like, Myles used to always beat into my head that, you know, it's about principalities and it's about the way we treat people. It's about like morals and, you know, things like respect. Respect has always been here. It's never going to go anywhere. Violence has always been here. It's never going to go anywhere. Power hungry people always been here. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's just people's attitude and like the moral dogmas that people, associate themselves with is nothing new. Like it's always been gangs in the world. It's always been wars. It's always been those at the top who think they're better than everybody else. Like these things have never changed. It's always been rich people. It's always been poor people. It's always been people who like, real quiet and timid. It's always been people who real boastful and stuff. And it's just been reinforced throughout generations of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for the tribes of Israel, we just got the worst end of the stick, ever since we, when was it? Ever since we like left Egypt, or ever since, I guess, the New Testament? Yeah, ever since Jesus came back and, the Jews weren't believing Jesus was him, the Israelites have just been, enslaved. They've been, but it's nothing new. This has always been going on. So when black people talk about, slavery from Africa and all this and that, it's like, bro, it's nothing new. You can't keep bringing up old stuff and saying that, oh, this is the problem and this will remedy it, when the only thing that could remedy the world, which still isn't going to happen, is if everybody just believe in Jesus. But not everybody believe in Jesus. It's that, bro. The way to fix the world is so simple, bro. But people just want to do their own thing, and they've always wanted to do their own thing.
And you speak to that, man. You speak about simplicity, right? They said it's in my mind. I'm sitting there. I'm okay. Oh, like, mind you, I said I'm early in the journey, and every single time that I speak to my boy Myles, he has a different perspective, and sometimes it's in line. And I guess my worldly views. I've always been trying to be a decent man, not a. I never claim to be a perfect one, but sometimes those views line up. But the thing is, it's like the answer is in the book, right? We literally keep avoiding what that answer is, and it's that it's people that avoid that connection to the book, right? That connection to something that they can't admit that they don't understand, so they just run away from it. But when you pull me into it, brother, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going crazy. I'm on the phone like we gonna go get him, and I'm talking about this lawyer, that lawyer, and I'm like, look, man, just get his address. So he looked like all this just wilding out, and then he's like, the answer's in the book. And Saheem said, it's like, why can't that be as simple as his word before anything else? Right. Because the thing is, I would have messed up and missed out on them getting rocks thrown on their head if Myles or whoever the person we're speaking of would have actually, pursued attacking someone or judging someone or So it's and even when he spoke to it, and obviously we want Tim and Mr. Vision to go ahead and chime in, but when he was speaking to it, it's like you can use the book in every single scenario in this life because there's nothing new under the sun, and it was already written in the book. So you got an issue in your relationship, go to the book. You got an issue with your job, go to the book. You got an issue with your health, go to the book.
Absolutely,
you got it.
It's that simple. It's that simple, man.
Yeah, we starting the year off right, fellas.
Yeah. Anything y'all going through that y'all want to see what the Bible speak to it or not?
It said Mr. Visions was with me in Miami and Florida for a little while, so it was a little bit of sabbatical. But I'm sure it's in the book too. Some of the, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Oh yeah, shoot, I had just got a Bible actually for Christmas. My girl mom sent me one, and she like highlighted a couple of I believe verses, what they're called, that I should go check out. She highlighted Psalms and like 3 other ones, but I started with Psalms, and that one I really dug it. Like I'm still going through it, but I dig it because it's kind of showing. It just kind of shows people like the versatility of a prayer. Like I don't know if like y'all came in with
Oh
this
yeah.
mindset like a prayer has to be so profound and you got to use a certain type of language and all this stuff. But in Psalms, it just gives like really descript, depictions of how people used to pray back in the day. And it was really earnest and honest. And it was really, you could feel their emotions in it and everything. It wasn't like stripped of emotion. And it was even, some people were like praying to spite others. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a lot of stuff that I wasn't expecting to see. But I think that right there just kind of opened up my mind as far as like how my prayers go. Because I've been working on, trying to be more honest. But of course, I don't know the threshold. Like I know God know my heart, but I still don't want to overstep. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing that kind of helped me at least to try to just sit down and like just be open, honest with God, and I think that kind of helps, with you facing your battles head on as well. Because if you can bring them to God, like who else you got to fear?
That's the only person to fear, man.
Yeah, for real. So that was big for me right there. And I just got this book too because it was a late Christmas gift.
I'm about to hit y'all with a verse from Psalms. Psalms 37. It's highlighted in my Bible. It's a Psalm of David, the king. And he says, don't be upset because sinful people. Don't be upset because of sinful people. Don't be jealous of those who do wrong. Like grass, they will soon dry up. Like green plants, they will soon die. Trust in the Lord and do good. Then you will live in the land and enjoy its food. Find your delight in the Lord. Then he will give you everything your heart really wants. Commit your life to the Lord. Here is what he will do if you trust in him. He will make the reward for your godly life shine like the dawn. He will make the proof of your honest life shine like the sun at noon. That's just like the first 6 verses.
And you know what? I gotta tell you how much what Tim said, like, kind of just made me go straight to like, remember the little cartoons, bro? Remember little cartoons? You have an angel on one shoulder and the devil on one shoulder, because the thing is, when I don't know why I keyed in on this, but Tim said they were even praising to spite people, and the thing is, so remember, prayer can go in 2 directions, right? So if you, I always like to make that dynamic between good and evil, right? Prayer can go in 2 different directions. Is that correct, Myles? Or prayer always goes up to God and he send it down? Because, to pray to hurt people, to pray that, the evil things that people are praising and that I think that there's a dynamic there, right? There's 2 prayers can go.
Well, let's be real.
Okay.
We got to go back to the basics. When you pray, it's who are you praying to? If you're praying to have someone killed, you can find that in the Bible all day long, where King David asked for God to kill his, enemies and anybody who stood against him. And, like, it is what it is. But I think the difference is, are you willing to wait on the right God to tell you what to do? If you wait on the true God, if you wait on Jesus to tell you what to do, he's not going to go towards murder and vengeance, because that's his. He already knows when that person is going to die and what's going to happen to that person and everything, So you trying to take that into your hands for what?
Yeah. All I can think is it's in the book. He said, you don't even know how to pray or who to pray to. It's in the book. Like, it's just wild, man. Wow.
So
it don't matter what. Wow.
So just clarification on that one. So my man Myles, are you saying, so if you do pray for someone's downfall and you think that you're praying to God, you could actually be praying to someone else.
And you
Yeah, you can be
you
praying
can
to a
bring your
demon,
own downfall
and
to you for
those
real.
things, yeah, you could end up bringing your own downfall to you, or you could end up bringing the downfall of that person through a demonic covenant that you made in the spiritual world. And maybe you are aware of it, maybe you're not, but you know, that's your chance that you taking because you praying to something in a different spirit.
That's interesting. See, I've never heard of that concept of believing that you're praying to God, but you're actually praying to, you know, a demonic or you know, something evil.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the devil comes as an angel of light. You know, he'll appear like he God, and he has power to grant requests here on earth. So
how do you
imagine
know
what
the
people
difference?
think that they're doing in God's name. You have to actually see
You'll
if
feel
what
it,
God
man. That's
tells
the
you to
Holy
do
Spirit.
aligns with the word of God.
You
If you go,
you know you doing
that's
wrong
the
when you
Holy
doing
Spirit.
it.
Yeah.
You feel it
Yeah.
in you.
Okay.
You just try and get away with it. That's what we all been doing. That's what we've been doing. That's what we low key been taught to do it too. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I just, you know, a lot. I feel like a lot of people. You know, I was telling Myles, I was like, I think God is, you know, He really choosing His soldiers right now because, you know, I'm not sure if y'all have known about, you know, the 400-year curse, but
No.
so the 400-year curse was you know, it was a curse that God actually put on the Israelites because we weren't following his directions as a people. You know, we were being persuaded by the pagans and we were following their ways of life. And after 400 years, that curse will be lifted. And, you know, the light will start to shine within us again and things will start to reveal themselves. And so, you know, a lot of people, you know, they say that we will be enslaved for, you know, 400 years. And God says that his people are perishing because they lack knowledge. And see, what people confuse that with is like not knowledge of the world, you know, not knowledge of Congress and stuff like that, but knowledge about him, you know, knowledge about the Bible. And that curse has been lifted because like it's been it's actually was lifted around like around I want to say like this like 2020 or around like the year of like 2000, like it was lifted.
So he I want you to keep going, brother, but this like really touched me. So the thing is, you think about that 400 years, right? And we talking about 400 years, like we know 400 years what time, what day, what era was going to be, right? And you think about the world and the way it is right now, does it seem like the devil's in a panic mode? Does it seem like he's on an all-out attack? He's like, yo, it's 400 years. He about to get his folk back. I got to go ahead and do this. And funny how he's attacking and he's actually bringing together. Brother, I don't know how y'all are doing in life and things like that. And I don't know if everybody's transitioning and stuff like that. Then it seems like the circle's starting to get a little bit tighter. I don't know. Maybe my life, I might have to do a separate testimony and just speak on it. But the certain people that are out of my life and certain people that are in it, and it's starting to like tighten up though, like huddle up, like certain things in directions that I would have never thought. And people that are surrounding me right now, because I said it's so crazy that my brother was just like, hey, Chris, I'm gonna take you with me, bro. You kind of lost in the woods right now, brother. Let me reach out to you. And when he touched me with just sending me text messages of these things, I snatched my brothers with me, and it started to get real tight. I don't know. It just think about an attack, right? When you save your biggest attack for last, because that's an all out, right? And then look at Capitol Hill right now.
Yeah, I saw that today. Did y'all see that today, y'all? There were actually like bandits in the White House, in the Capitol. I was like, yo.
They're sitting in the lobby.
They were in the Congress seat. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, bro, they was at the vending machine posted up, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. They was at the vending machines, bro. They was in the building, right? Because it's all out attack on all this chaos and this confusion and this, it seems to me like the devil getting a little bit
No, but
desperate
see,
though.
look, check
So
this out. Check this out. So I really think, we need to start tying the Bible into like real world things, because we need to like educate people on what's coming. And so how Myles said, Lucifer is coming as an angel of enlightenment, right? But see, what Lucifer has to do is that he thrives out of chaos. And so, believe it or not, like this is just like the tip of the iceberg for America, and the world.
The full world.
Like the world is going to get right. The world is going to get so chaotic. Like white people are storming the Capitol, not black people, white people. This country is already 70% white. And so for the people who inherited this country, right? And they're already not liking their own people. You see what I'm saying? Like this is just more chaos that Lucifer is causing. And yeah, some colored people, they gonna get lost in the mix instead of, following God and just, minding our business. But Lucifer, he's gonna make it more chaotic all over the world. And then he's going to erupt as like a savior. He's going to be like,
he's gonna have the keys to
like
this, and he's gonna have the cure for this, and he's gonna have this.
He's like, the worlds are going to be like going, like countries are going to be at war, and then all of a sudden this guy's going to come up. He's going to be like, "Nah, don't do that," and everybody's going to think like, "Oh, who is this one guy that's just solving all these problems and stuff like that?" And people who don't know, that's going to be the false prophet. You see what I'm saying? He's not really saving anything. He created all of this. And then it's like basically, let's say you have a child, right? And so that you control that child. You know that you can set that child up to believe something and then trick them later and be like, nah, that's not what I was really doing. You see what I'm saying? And that's what Lucifer is. He's very deceptive. So he's going to make people believe that things are, chaotic and out of control. But this is all what Lucifer wants. Because when he brings, quote unquote, control back, it's only going to be deception.
It's going to be under the guise of one world government and religion and everything, all wrapped into one.
So I said, it's always about perspective, right? So he said 400 years that he put his what? So what are Israelites to God? Can you give me that real quick, Myles, so I can explain this?
That Jesus actually came through.
So what if that curse? Let's say, remember, we don't understand God and His ways. What if that curse was training for His people that are still good, that are still obedient, that are still, trying to help their brothers in arms and care about people, just as much as they care about themselves. It's what if that was a training, a 400-year training, and the thing is now He's tightening up His circle.
Well, it was
his brothers, right? And it said,
is what it was. We can't go against that because we transgressed God first as man. We were the ones who turned and worshiped other gods. We were the ones that got bewitched by the other countries and stuff around us and how they did stuff.
But that's exactly what I'm saying, brother. What if He was also saying, hey, this punishment, you learned from it and prepare for the devil? Because the thing is, the devil appeared before that. We got punished for following the devil in the first place. That's what I'm saying. What if His people actually learned from it this time? And it was his punishment was actually also to make us prepared for that adversity. Because the thing is, how you just said that the devil was he's a master at these things, right? But we can see through that if for 400 years we were punished and understanding what we need to do right this time. That's powerful stuff. Man.
Dang. All right. So I have a couple of questions because this is getting really interesting. But one question is, all right, so the 400-year punishment, is that Is that a literal 400 years, or is
Well, he
that
said a 400-year. He said a 400-year slavery. We would be enslaved for 400 years. That was the literal translation. And honestly, now that we look up, we do kind of realize that the Israelites have been enslaved for that long, because the actual Israelites from the Bible are traced back to the actual African American of today. We're from the tribe of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
We're one of the 12 tribes that got scattered across the world. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, it's right. With the tribes were, they dispersed, after, God had given them the land and stuff like that. And, we were actually lost all over the world. You see what I'm saying? Like African Americans, black people are the most disrespected people all over the planet, no matter where you go. You can go to South America and you're still looked at a certain way as a black person. You can go to Africa. We know that Africans are different than African Americans. Like we don't have the same genetic type of. Right. And so because we have so many genotypes, like a lot of people overlook Genesis. You see what I'm saying? Genesis is really explaining the genes of how we as people developed in tribes. Mm-hmm. And those tribes really meant something, because there were certain tribes that were pagan, and then there was God's chosen tribe that descended from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob and so forth. And you literally have to follow that bloodline and believe that you are part of that bloodline. You see what I'm saying? Because some people are going to say that Jesus came back, or that Jesus is coming back. And not Jesus, or he is, but y'all know that false image that we have of Jesus. Mm-hmm. The long hair, white dude, long beard.
Blonde hair.
That's not even
Caesar Borgia.
Yeah, that's not even how Jesus is described. But that's how Lucifer is going to play with people. You know what I'm saying? And say that oh, this is Jesus, or da da da. Mm-hmm. And so when people see that depiction of Jesus, they might even believe that that's the real him. And that's not even Jesus, because that Jesus don't got hair like wool. That Jesus don't got bronze skin.
And definitely wasn't born on December 25th.
Absolutely. Jesus was born in the fall, in September or October.
Right. And I think one of the key things too that we have to understand about that lineage is that we were scattered for a reason. And we are the only people on earth that had our whole identity completely wiped out. And that's only one group of people that actually can be traced back to that. And then in the Bible, it says that we would be taken into captivity on ships. No other slave group in the world had ever been moved with using ships in that mass of an exodus, other than the African American, which is really the Hebrew of ancient Israel. But all of that was covered up.
Man, it's interesting. I feel like I was listening to Kendrick Lamar on his Damn album, and he was talking about that a little bit on his the song Fear. Mm-hmm. And he had one of his cousins call him up in a skit, and he was talking about how how us black people, and I believe it was some Muslims included in that, were going to be chastised to learn a lesson. And I remember him bringing that up in there. And and that was really cool that you brought that up too, Heem, and was able to tie that all in, because I never actually went and checked out what it said in the book. You know what I'm saying? So that was good.
But it's a history book. The Bible is like everything. It's like it's everything. It's everything except for like, you know, math. But it's a history book. It teaches how to deal, like Myles said, deal with
It's the basic
relationships. It
instruction.
teaches how to judge
Basic.
one another. Yeah, it's
The
simple.
basic instructions before leaving Earth, because God knew everything that was going to happen before it happened. So he was like, here's a book that entails how you got into the state that you're in any time in dispensation, and how to get back to me once this whole thing is over, and how you'll be gifted for going through this such a horrible situation. You know?
Yeah.
And he even shows how he takes care of
Yeah.
us during this time here on Earth, you know, because people have lived in far worse times than us, even though we may think our time is bad, but there's really nothing new under the sun, you know. Because in Babylon, they was going
And
through
let
the
me
same
tell
thing. In Egypt, they was going through the same thing. Then imagine if Egypt, you think they wasn't doing worse things to those slaves than injecting them with pharmaceuticals? They could be doing anything to them slaves, you know? So
and like we're still going through all of that, y'all. Like child sacrifices. Like he said, you know, they're we I don't know if you guys know what
oh yeah.
adrenochrome is, but and then we got, you know, DNA sequences that they're trying to clone
Splicing,
and stuff like
genome
that.
splicing. Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
And you know, these are all just been because the other tribes, they want to be God. You see what I'm saying? All these other tribes want to have the power that God has. And that's the deception that Lucifer is giving them. Like just going back to Genesis, you know, when he deceived Eve to eat the apple, you know, he told Eve that you will be God-like, you know. So Lucifer is promising these ruling classes that rule over the world, you know, a
Yeah,
God-like power.
they're gonna be able to.
And
The devil is deceiving these people and telling them that they're gonna be able to implant their brain memory onto a chip and insert it in any other body and continue sinning for the rest of their life, giving them immortal abilities through technology.
Man, I'm sitting here like, you know what? I get all that, man. But 400 years, the curse is lifted. What are we supposed to do now? What's in the book that tells us how are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to move right now? What are the actions he wants us to take? Because I'm sitting here, I'm just like, if it's in the book, there's got to be something that we can hold on to, especially because that like I said, that timing,
Yeah.
that curse is lifted, right? But the devil is on an all out attack. So what word can we look to or speak to? To figure out what our actions need to be right now, because the thing is, it's here. You know what I'm saying?
well, the actions is just to, you know, prepare yourself and to arm yourself with Jesus. You gotta repent. You know what I'm saying? You gotta repent every day. You gotta pray every day. Basically, you gotta re-engineer yourself from the life that you were living. You see what I'm saying? Because you'll see what you were doing wrong during you know your living years, and you'll be like, wow, like this is what I'm actually supposed to have been
Yep.
doing the whole time I've
Yep.
been living. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying to pursue wisdom and not just
Yeah,
wisdom
wisdom
of the
of
world, but
God.
wisdom
Like
from Him.
Yes,
this
sir.
whole thing is about how close is your relationship with the Father, because a lot of people are not going to be accepted in at the gate at the end when it's all said and done, because this life is like a vapor. It's here today, gone tomorrow, and one day you're going to be sitting in front of God, and either you did what was right or you did what the world instructed you to do, and you're going to have to pay for either one of those. You're going to be rewarded for either one. But the devil is trying to trick everybody right now into thinking that what's going on isn't really going on, but we all know it's going on.
And the thing is like he want everybody, he want all commoners to know what's not going on.
They know
But
exactly.
the elite people, the people with all, they know exactly, bro. Like they got nuclear weapons pointed at heaven. Them nuclear bombs ain't for us. They not going to destroy the world. They got that
Yes.
joint trying to destroy God. They got doomsday bunkers already prepared, trying to hide underneath the soil, thinking
And when
that
you
is going to
hold
save
on,
them.
Heem, when you get a
Like they,
chance, look up CERN and see the
oh yeah,
rituals
look
that
up
they
CERN, y'all.
performed in front of the Hydra Collider before they opened it, and you tell me what you think.
What's it called?
CERN.
CERN, CERN.
Hydrogen Collider.
It's a giant particle machine that they're trying to use to open up another dimension in time so that they can let
And
demons
they've
in
been
at
using it
will.
to harvest dark matter.
And the thing is multiple machines around the
not just the
world.
big
It's
one in
not
Switzerland.
just one.
So, check on that too.
But they have so many things, y'all. Like, and they tell us these things. They tell us these things in entertainment. They tell us these things in cartoons. They tell us these things in movies. And if you don't know, it just go right over your head. Like Myles pointed out, like y'all know the movie Monsters Inc., the child movie, right? So think about it. You have monsters, literal monsters, that are harvesting the energy of the fear of children.
And they need that to survive.
You see
the crew from,
and you see how you don't see that message just because it's a kids movie. But when you really think about it, that means you have literal like monsters embedded within people who, like Myles said, are living off of the fear of kids. Like this is why they be
like
kidnapping
in
children all
satanic
over the
rituals,
world.
they take children and they groom them to be as scared as they possibly, like they torture them weeks and stuff before, and then they get them as scared as they possibly can, and then drink the chemical out of their brain that's produced from the fear, and it gives the person like supernatural like feeling in their body that they can't. It's like a drug, and they feed off that.
So they're literally drinking on the fear.
Yes.
Hey, they should have watched the end of that movie though, because in the end they found out that laughter was more powerful than the scream. They might want to drink a laughing kid brain. I'm not suggesting anybody drink a kid brain, but I mean, if you gonna get that high, then get the high. You know what I'm saying? But no, I see what you're saying.
No. Listen to what you just said, though. Listen to what you said. If you're going to get the high, then why not get the highest of the high, right?
But
so the thing is, the devil can only do so much baiting, right? But if you have the vision, you can actually see through what the devil is trying to offer you on that path. Understand what the destination is. Nobody's focused on the destination. Everybody's so focused on today. No one's thinking about the destination. It's not the destination is not tomorrow. It's not today. It's yesterday. The destination is the destination, right? You literally just said it. The highest of the high, which was more powerful than fear, more powerful than hate, more powerful than violence, more powerful than not being obedient. You know what I'm saying? Was being obedient, was having love in your heart, was being compassionate, was being there for other people, was being, you know what I'm saying?
That's why God said you got to keep him at the forefront of your mind at all times.
Wow, bro.
Because if you don't got God on your forehead at all times, because believe your forehead, that third eye that a lot of people like talking about, that's where your thoughts originate. I forgot what part of the brain is called. It's called the
Bro, listen to that.
But that's where your thoughts originate. And so if God is not there at all times where your thoughts originate, your thoughts have power, believe it or not. And then your thoughts help you talk things into the spiritual realm. That's why God said you must guard your thoughts and you must cast down all evil thoughts. Because if you say something that goes against what you're trying to do, that's hindering your process. That's hindering your life. And a lot of people don't even know that, like, even just saying simple things like go to hell, or saying simple things like I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why God said, if you don't got nothing nice to say, just turn around, bro.
Is that would those be forms of praise or prayer when you say those things like go to hell? Are those things that can also have
that's a curse? You cursing somebody.
You wishing hell.
You can't say
that's in the
those
book
things. Too. Yeah, you're not supposed to.
That's the book too. Wow, that's in the book.
We're supposed to be 100%. We're supposed to try to be 100% good to everybody every day. Everybody is your brother.
No, every
woman is your sister, and there you go, there you go. And then you're supposed to treat every elderly person as your own mother and father. You see what I'm saying? And if you can't treat that person like that,
hold on.
You gotta look at yourself.
You're supposed to treat everybody with respect, but you don't trust everybody until you know that they're really, you vet that person for real,
Well,
because that's sometimes what Christians fall into too. They be too forgiving and too loving, and it's like, nah, God didn't call us to be stupid. He definitely called us to be discerning, very discerning of who we give our trust to, because he knew the importance of relationship. That's why he was so adamant about being close and sticking together and fellowshipping and sharing knowledge so that we won't be fooled in these last times. So this is what we're doing, is creating like a small little online church, I guess, just to talk about, what's going on with God in today's time right now, just so we can have a reference from other point of views,
Absolutely.
Point of views that are in union, though, right?
They have to be.
We definitely can agree that that's the locations are different, man. I'm calling y'all from different locations, and it's so crazy that bond is still so tight, though. Listen to what we talk about, man. This is powerful stuff, man.
Sure.
Wow.
But see, you'll find that, like, Jesus is talking to you, because when you start to, talk to other brothers, or when you start to talk to other people, that conversation won't be interesting. You'll be like, why are y'all talking about this? Or you'll be like, you shouldn't be talking about such and such in that manner. And you see what I'm saying? But then they'll look at you different, like, oh, what's gotten into you? You like, man, Jesus into me. I don't want no more parts of what y'all be doing. Like, you'll see how God he'll redirect your life, and he'll surround you with people who think like you, who are, who think with God. You see what I'm saying?
If you hang with God, you got vision around you, like.
Wow.
Man, it's wow. And if you got vision around you, can see the devil coming a mile away. Wow, bro.
Is to isolate an individual and get them into depression and to get them paranoid of any advice that could be coming their way. Because most people that are going down the wrong path, they're scared to get help from people that could truly help them. Like, they hear the suggestions, but they don't take it because they're scared that this person could be right, or that how they're doing it, they won't be able to continue to live life in the way that they want no more,
And see, I'm glad you said vision, because that's what God blesses, especially men with. He blesses us with, the vision to be able to, see a certain amount into the future. Like, remember when you were younger and you were able to visualize so vividly what you wanted to do with your life? And then as you got older, it became harder to see your next step all the time. And that's because you got far, you was getting further away. And that's what the devil takes away from men. But he takes away your vision, he take away your focus. And he take away your focus, and the number one thing he uses to take away your focus,
100%.
Sex and women. That's the number one
and
thing.
So we're gonna end off this podcast with the relationship part of this show. What's the name of it, Chris? Because this is the new year. We got to start right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Are we going to do a separate one? We're going to get back on. It's called Why Love Hurts. Why Love Hurts.
And I just want to thank y'all so much for tuning into the first KillEgo podcast. And this is a Bible study for sinners, and we want to catch y'all on the next one. Thank you so much, Tim, Visions, Chris, and Raheem for coming through, man. We appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace. 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 Peace.